In a recent address at a Washington, D.C. summit, U.S. Vice President JD Vance delivered a pointed critique of Britain's economic policies, attributing the nation's stagnation to high levels of immigration and an over-reliance on cheap labor. Vance's assertions have ignited fresh debates on both sides of the Atlantic, with critics accusing him of oversimplifying complex economic issues to promote a nationalist agenda. But what exactly did he say, and why does he seem so fixated on Britain? Let's delve deeper into his remarks and the ensuing controversy. Addressing an audience of tech industry leaders, Vice President Vance argued that Western nations, including the UK, have grown complacent by depending excessively on inexpensive foreign labor, leading to a decline in productivity. He stated, "I'd say that if you look in nearly every country, from Canada to the UK, that imported large amounts of cheap labor, you've seen productivity stagnate. That's not a total happenstance. I think that the connection is very direct." This perspective aligns with a broader economic argument, suggesting that unrestricted access to low-cost labor can diminish businesses' incentives to innovate, automate, or enhance working conditions for domestic workers. However, economists remain divided on this issue. Some believe that immigration fills labor shortages, boosts consumer spending, and drives economic growth, while others support Vance's view that an oversupply of low-wage workers suppresses wages and hampers long-term productivity. Extending his criticism beyond the UK, Vance described America as being addicted to cheap labor, attributing this reliance to 40 years of failed economic policy. He defended recent U.S. tariff measures, including a 25% tariff on iron and steel imports from Britain, as necessary to protect American industries from being undercut by cheaper foreign competitors. Vance suggested that combining tariffs with advanced robotics and lower energy costs could help the U.S. rebuild its manufacturing sector, stating, "When you erect a tariff wall around a critical industry like auto manufacturing, and you combine that with advanced robotics and lower energy costs and other tools that increase the productivity of U.S. labor, you give American workers a multiplying effect." Beyond economic issues, Vance's remarks are part of a broader pattern of criticism directed at Britain and Europe. Last month at the Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC, he accused European governments of restricting free speech, citing the arrest of individuals for expressing controversial opinions. Vance framed these incidents as examples of increasing authoritarianism in Western Europe. His comments on immigration have also fueled further tensions. Vance claimed that Brexit voters in the UK had been betrayed by political elites who, in his view, had opened the floodgates to millions of unvetted immigrants. This assertion taps into ongoing debates in Britain about the post-Brexit immigration system. While Brexit was largely driven by a desire to take back control of immigration, critics argue that net migration remains high, and the promised reductions in numbers have not materialized. Vance's remarks have drawn backlash, not just for his economic arguments, but also for his perceived lack of regard for Britain's military contributions. He recently came under fire for comments that appeared to downplay the UK's military involvement in global conflicts. He was accused of suggesting that Britain had not fought a war in 30 or 40 years, a claim that many found disrespectful, given that more than 600 British troops were killed between 2001 and 2014 while fighting alongside U.S. forces in Iraq and Afghanistan. Although Vance has denied making such a claim, the controversy has only added to the perception that his stance on Britain is increasingly hostile. Vance's remarks come at a time of growing uncertainty in U.S.-UK relations. The Trump administration's aggressive trade policies, combined with Vance's critical stance on British immigration and governance, indicate a shift in how the U.S. views its long-standing ally. With upcoming elections in both the U.S. and the U.K., debates over immigration, trade, and global alliances are likely to intensify. The core question remains, does immigration hinder economic productivity, as Vance claims, or is he oversimplifying a complex issue? While his supporters argue that Western economies need to reduce their reliance on cheap labor, critics say that cutting off immigration would create worker shortages and harm long-term growth. Either way, Vance's comments ensure that immigration and economic policy will remain central to political debates on both sides of the Atlantic. What are your thoughts on Vice President Vance's recent remarks? Do you believe that high levels of immigration contribute to economic stagnation? Or is this an oversimplification of a multifaceted issue? Share your opinions in the comments section below. If you haven't already, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analyses on current events. Thank you for watching and take care.